This, in every sense, is the dirty war. And the war they fight is the unspectacular, small, daily war in Vietnam.
Well, I think it's very unfair. Why should the people, American boys, white and black, go to Vietnam to fight when a quarter of the American population can't even vote?
I was a sniper in the 3rd Marine Division. And it really hurt me a lot of times to see 13, 14-year-old kids that we'd kill.
He's cunning. He's an enemy to be respected.
How high can you fly?
Is Vietnam what you expected it to be like before you came out here?
It's exactly as I expected, but until you actually get down here in the Delta, it's hard to imagine on a slide or a film the mud and the water and the swamp and the extreme heat in the middle of the afternoon.
Mothers and fathers back home, they will cry.
I say, they don't seem to, we're out here trying to help them, save their land and stuff like that, and they just don't seem to care whether they know where the enemy is or not.
Do you feel that there's still kind of a cover-up still going on about the Vietnam era, that there are things that are left, that are known but they're left unsaid?
I think everything that's known has been said. I'm sure there is plenty we don't know about. But
we'll never know.
And we'll never know, indeed.
Busy being born, is busy dying. Temptation page flies out the door. You follow, find yourself at war. You follow, find yourself at war. You follow, find yourself at war.
It must be awfully hard to tell whether one village is Viet Cong or whether it's friendly.
Suffered and died. For what? For the future freedom of all Americans, fighting for an idea. The idea bigger than the country. Without the idea, the country might have remained only a wilderness. Without the country, the idea might have remained only a dream.
It strikes me that liberals tend to pick on the United States and how wrong the war was. And you know, I don't know that there's ever been a war that was justified or right.
Our troops were there long before anyone knew what Vietnam was. This was the early 1950s.
These guys had just been to hell, and we were headed into what they had just left. Stop worrying about that. Call around, Clemons and Charles and Convoy, ambush, back toe.
And from that moment on, we were fighting for our lives.
We didn't have the whole story.
This is the way an airstrike begins, around a table.
Killing people with the most modern tactical means.
They're gonna put me in the movies.
750-pound bombs are on their way.
Star out of me.
We hate war.
We'll make a scene about a man who's sad and lonely.
We hate war. We know that in war it's the common man who does the pain, the suffering, the dying.
Most of the pilots are young, seeing combat for the first time.
They're out here every night shooting at us, and they keep coming, just keep coming. They won't negotiate freely. We're going to have to just stomp them into the ground.
Most of these people over here look big enough to carry their own weapons. And they send us over here to do their fighting for them.
What it is actually is just old fishing line, nylon monofilament line. And you see it's light green. It's damn hard to see in the jungle. And it's just impossible to see at night. Somebody comes through here, unless they're specifically looking every inch of the way for a tripwire, they'll just hit this thing.
My husband works in Da Nang. He is in Saigon. And this woman claims she hasn't seen her husband since last November.
That if they were in combat and they survived combat, let's say.
The women are, as far as I know, entirely as capable of throwing a hand grenade into a government force's billets as a man is, and they've been known to do that.
In a war in which they're bullies for browbeating women and cripples, and maybe a dead fool if they don't.
We are primarily, basically, protecting our homeland. This is a long ways off, but this is our job here, to protect our people at home before the situation reaches them as it is here.
Of the strongest power in the world, using its men and materiel to force even the most righteous kind of government, thousands of miles from where they are, killing people with the most modern tactical means, is making a senseless kind of way to resist communism.
Ronald Reagan, the Screen Actors Guild president, follows with a statement of action against communism.
Let's for a moment forget the words communist and communism. Let's substitute the proper term, pro-Russian.
Really being battered a great deal, not only by South Vietnamese troops, but by our own troops. And this is why we contend that it is basically civil war, and that we have supported many military dictatorships.
The CIA thought the war was a mistake. The CIA's little war in Southeast Asia had begun in secret, without public support. Now it was the Pentagon's big war that few Americans understood, and that the United States was losing.
I think that the attitude was we don't want to know more than we need to know.
So they killed hundreds and hundreds of innocent people.
So if your country killed people, you'd kill people.
When it comes to war, it's winning that counts.
So that's all that counts, and therefore the German soldier was correct, right?
Well, you see the...
Okay, have a good time, sir. Think about it.
Real strange. Down, you see the people. Sometimes they look like they're afraid.
Doctor, do you anticipate any permanent damage to his foot?
No, sir, we have no permanent damage. It's just a matter of time.
There are always purple hearts to pin on. There are always purple hearts to pin on. There are always purple hearts to pin on.
He's the American killed when he was mistaken for the enemy.
7 small packages wrapped in plastic. That was 7 small children they could kill.
Someone made a mistake, and innocent people died.
And the wonder that comes when they wait to listen in the dead hours of the night.
Only frightened women and children, and men too old or sick to get away. But according to Vietnamese Army intelligence, everybody here is a Viet Cong, and these are the prisoners.
When I picked up this one body and the arm came off.
Shell shock. Battle fatigue. Caused this thing called post-traumatic stress disorder. The more anyone is exposed to death and dying, the years of nightmares, of waking up gasping for breath.
The little picture is seen by the men who are carrying out that policy on the ground, in the air, and on the sea in Vietnam.
More Vietnam veterans have committed suicide since returning home than have died in the war.
Do you solemnly swear that in the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
But what you can do is fault a government or a policy that put them into...
Same thing, right? But wait a minute. I happen to have some friends who were in Vietnam, some who spent, and one great friend who spent 6 years in a prison camp, you see, and suffering greatly for you and me, and Morley Safer as well.
Well, what if I didn't want him to go there in the first place?
Well, who are you to say?
I'm a citizen of the United States.
Fighting for an idea. The idea bigger than the country. Without the idea, the country might have remained only a wilderness. Without the country, the idea might have remained only a dream. 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 Only a dream.
Darkness at the break of noon, shadows even the silver spoon, the handmade blade, the child's balloon, eclipses both the sun and moon. Do you understand? You know too soon, there is no sense in trying.